The MLB season is upon us. That also means the summer is upon us. I don't know if you are like me, but when I think of baseball, I think of hot, muggy summer days. You know what that also means? Because baseball is played outside, the weather can have a huge impact on the scores of baseball, which means from a betting perspective, the weather can have a huge impact on the total. So in this video, I'm going to teach you how the weather impacts total betting specifically for the MLB, because it's the most unique than any other sport. The fact that each ballpark has different dimensions, the fact that games are played outdoors over the summer, weather has a huge impact on scoring. So I'm going to give you profitable betting strategies specifically related to the weather in baseball. As for me, my name is Matt Modi, content creator, betting analyst for OddsJam.com. Since I have been using OddsJam, I profited over $30,000 using the strategies specifically in baseball talked about in this video. So I definitely recommend staying until the end, watching all of the different baseball betting strategies so you can become a profitable sports bettor. While you're here, would also appreciate it if you could like the video, subscribe, and then comment. Let me know your thoughts. If it was helpful, not helpful, any of that stuff. As for me, and lastly, you can find me on my social media, Twitter handle, Jedi Modi. Post a bunch of pics, helpful analysis, stuff like that on Twitter. So I put a link to that in the description of the video as well as the pinned comment. So baseball betting. As I mentioned, baseball is played outside. Not sure if you knew that or not. Because it's played outside, again, the weather has a huge impact on scoring, up, down, left, right, whatever it may be. Because baseball is played outside and is played in the summer, it can lead to some very hot games being played, especially in the southern climates, right? Duh. But how does the weather impact the scoring? Well, let's chat about that. But first, one big, bold disclaimer is that all of these different betting strategies that I'm going to talk about, nothing trumps making sure that you are still betting on value. So I'm going to give you pointers and stats and stuff to look out for. But at the end of the day, you're still going to want to bet for value. You're going to want to line shop. You're going to want to see where the best odds are offered. You're going to want to compare lines to the sharp sportsbooks and make betting decisions based off of that. So while these are all helpful hints, you never want to just blindly bet anything without looking to see where other sportsbooks price it. So with that out of the way, now we can get into the good stuff. Now we can get into the baseball betting strategies. So when talking about the weather in baseball, there's two topics I'm going to discuss: the temperature and the wind. Now I'm going to start with the temperature and specifically start with hot days. Now for the purposes of this exercise, I am defining hot as anything that is 90 degrees or above. And simply put, hot days leads to the ball traveling further in the air, which leads to more home runs. It really is as simple as that. So if you're thinking about total betting for the MLB, identify games that are 90 degrees or hotter, and then you're going to want to look at the over in those games. Hot equals ball traveling farther in the air, which equals more home runs. So those are also good games for player props, specifically to target players hitting home runs. So the hotter the game is, the more home runs to be hit. And the opposite is also true for cold weather games. Now, again, for this exercise, we are defining cold weather as 50 degrees or cooler. The ball doesn't travel as far when it's cold outside, which means the ball travels less, which means that there are less home runs to be hit, which means on average, the total goes under. So actionable advice for temperature-related MLB betting specifically: 90 degrees or hotter, you're going to want to target the over. You're going to want to target home runs to be hit. 50 degrees or colder, you're going to want to do the opposite, target the under and fade batters. Now let's talk about the wind. Now in terms of profitable baseball betting strategies, the wind is actually the most important factor when it comes to totals, right? The wind has the biggest impact. And obviously, specifically looking at the wind, the direction of the wind has the biggest impact on whether the total is going over or under. You also need to think of the dimensions of the ballpark. So wind blowing out into the left might not be as important as wind blowing out into the right, depending on the ballpark. So there's a ton of information that you need to glean through. Now, I'm not going to talk a ton about the stadiums. So there's two specific examples, which I'll talk to that when I get there. But talking about the wind, the direction of the wind is the most important thing. Is it blowing in or is it blowing out? And when I say in or out, I mean, is it blowing out of the stadium or is it blowing in towards the stadium? So with that in mind, the biggest trend in profitable betting strategy when it comes to wind, when it comes to temperature and weather related betting, is taking the under when the wind is blowing in, so towards the ballpark. Now, this is something that has been tracked for the past 15 years. And in only one instance, in only one of those 15 years, did blindly betting the under not result in a profitable betting strategy, meaning not result in a win percentage of above 52%, which is the number you kind of need to be in order to be profitable, assuming average odds of -110. Now, keep in mind, this doesn't even include line shopping and like comparing odds to sharp sportsbooks. It's literally just blindly betting the under, tracking the data from one sportsbook. And again, in only 1 in 15 years did blindly betting the under when the wind is blowing in not result in profit, not result in making money. So this is something that you're going to want to track pretty closely. Is the wind blowing in? If yes, heavily target the under in those games. Now, the opposite is true as well with the wind blowing out. Granted, it's not as profitable as the wind blowing in, so you're going to want to do a little bit more digging on this one specifically, the wind blowing out, but it's still a profitable betting strategy to take the over when the wind is blowing out. Now, the last point I'll make about the wind blowing out, and this is where I'm going to talk about the stadiums that I hinted at earlier. If you just remove 2 stadiums from the sample size of taking the over when the wind is blowing out, your ROI literally doubles. Now, it's no surprise that those 2 stadiums are the Angels and the Athletics Stadium. Those are pitchers' ballparks, but if you just remove those 2 from the equation, like I said, your ROI literally doubles from betting the overs when the wind is blowing out. So yeah, the stadium matters. So if you're thinking about a profitable betting strategy and you're thinking about specifically doing this specific strategy of betting the over when the wind is blowing out, I would probably advise just remove any games that are in Oakland or in the Angels Stadium, and you just have a higher percent chance of that being profitable, right? You're just minimizing your risk at that point. But that's pretty much going to be it. So to do a quick summary here, hot, and when I say hot, I mean 90 degrees or hotter equals more runs, more home runs. Cold, meaning 50 degrees or colder, equals less runs, less home runs. Wind blowing in also equals less runs. Wind blowing out equals more runs. And now you've learned everything you need to know about how the weather impacts total betting in the MLB. So if you thought this was helpful, again, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit me up at my Twitter handle you see on the screen here. And that's it. Other than that, so I appreciate you guys for watching and have a good one. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Below are all of my different social medias where I post picks and plays daily. Make sure to hit me up there. Also, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel as I'm constantly putting out new videos to learn how to make money sports betting. And that's it. So thanks for watching and have a good one.